All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Abimbola Olaide. I'll be taking the introduction to automation testing with C# and Selenium. So for the objective, we talk about the terminologies in automation framework, the required tools, and setting up the environment. And if anyone has questions and answers for me, question and answer session, I mean. So for the terminologies in automation framework, so basically, automation framework is a set of guidelines for testing. Oh my God. Sorry about that. It is systematic set of guidelines for testing for efficient test automation. So it helps to promote maintainability, reusability, and scalability while reducing manual effort and enhancing test reliability. So in a nutshell, our automation framework actually helps us. It makes testing easy. So I don't know if you have done the manual testing. So this manual testing that probably Rita did manual testing with you, which I don't know about. But in case you've done manual testing, once you understand how automation works and you set up your framework, it makes testing very, very easy. Like, for instance, it can increase the efficiency or it can reduce time that you use for manual testing, e.g. regression testing, by probably like, let's say 50 to 70%. So another terminology that you hear me say is BDD, or behavior driven development. So this actually helps us to bridge the gap between technical and non-technical team members. So technical team, like the developer and we the QA are the technical team, and the non-technical team are your BA and your Scrum Masters. So once they see the readable Gherkin syntax, they will be able to understand what you are actually doing in the code, even without understanding the code. So it helps to it emphasizes collaboration and clear communication of requirements. So for BDD in automation, we make use of a .feature file, and the functionality is provided by rock and roll. So it's RAQNROLL, rock and roll. So another terminology is page object model. So the page object model of the POM is a design pattern to organize our automated tests for web application. Sorry. Each web page is represented by a class that holds its elements and actions, keeping things organized. So basically a class is like a container for our method and our field. So for each feature, for instance, our login feature, we are going to create a new class for it. And that class is going to have our field and our method for login. For instance, we can have the username, we can have the email or password, and we're going to set it in our login field. So then the required tools for setting up the environment. So the tools required are the Visual Studio is an IDE. So Visual Studio is an IDE. So IDE is Integrated Development Environment. So it's where we're going to write our C# code. So the next one is the .NET SDK. So .NET SDK is .NET is the framework. Then the SDK means the software development kit. So it provides us the ability to write our C# and execute it. So the next one is Selenium WebDriver. So that's the main backbone of our framework. Then Rock and Roll, it helps us to provide BDD functionality and hooks functionality. Then we use NUnit for test execution. So one of the three common test execution we have in C# or .NET is NUnit, XUnit, and MS tests. But for this section, we'll be using NUnit. In fact, NUnit is the most popular one for software testers, though developers make use of XUnit for unit testing. So for the environment, we'll install our Nugget packages via the Nugget in our Visual Studio, and we'll configure WebDriver in the test project, and we'll be testing this website. So please, I want you to take note of this website, sourcedemo.com. So it's a free website where you can just test a simple login functionality and other functionality you want to test. So I'll start by setting up my environment. So please, if you are on a Mac, please signify. But if you're on a Windows, you just follow my step. So I'll search for my Microsoft Store. So once I open it, I'll search for Visual Studio. So look at Visual Studio Community 2022. So I want you to click on it and you install it. So you see like a little pop-up. Please just proceed with it. And let me open my Visual Studio. So once what you install from the Microsoft Store is the Visual Studio installer. So once you've installed that one, you will have a pop-up like this. So I'll click on modify. Once you click on install, you have a new pop-up like this. So I want you to pick this one, this ASP.NET and web development for the automation. Or make sure you are picking this one, or you can pick this one also. Then you click on modify. But I'll be closing the installer now. I'm going to cancel it. I don't install it. I've already installed it. So once you've installed it, you would have your Visual Studio like this, Visual Studio 2022. So you have to click on continue without code. So this is how the IDE actually look like. So you can customize your IDE. So this is where we'll run our code. So this is our integrated development environment. Okay. Sorry, please, from where? Where do you want me to start from?
From where I'm going to, I don't know, is it to get this?
Okay.
This thing you're bringing up.
Okay. So once you install it, you would have your Visual Studio installer.
So do we go into Microsoft Store, you said?
Yes, Microsoft Store, and you search for this Visual Studio Community 2022.
Visual Studio Community Store.
Can I just say that installing that bit do take a bit of time, and you need to have enough space on your computer.
Yes, at least 10 gig of space.
Yeah. So, and it might take up to 15 minutes. So I don't think we will have to wait for that to be done. We'll continue, and later on we can ask people to share their screen if we have enough time. Because if we have to wait for that, that will be a long time for us before that will be too much.
Hello. Sorry, can you help me through installing this? And I didn't get it at all, please.
You mean this one?
Just start all over again. Just a quick overview, please.
All right.
Yeah.
So set
And
up
take
our
it a bit
environment.
slowly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So to set up our environment, if you're on Windows, you search for Microsoft Store. So this is the first step, Microsoft Store. So you search for Visual Studio Community, Visual Studio Community 2022. Then you click on install. But I've installed it already. So you can click on install So once you've installed it, you'll be able to, you'll see a Visual Studio installer, and you will have a screen like this. So
I'm sorry, you are too fast, please.
I'm too fast. Oh my God. Okay. Let me uninstall my Visual Studio then, so you can follow. So just give me 1 minute. Let me install it. It's gonna be like 5 minutes.
Please, can I ask a quick question?
Yes, please.
Okay, so my question is, while trying to install, I found out that there is like the ASP.NET or something like that, and all the boxes are not checked. Is it okay to just go with the ones that are selected, or do I need to check all the other boxes?
The default is all right.
Default is fine, okay.
Yeah, but you can wait till when I do start install a fresh install, if you don't mind.
Okay, then thank you.
All right. But you can click on install because of, to make it faster. But the default is all right. So it's the default I will select. Probably that's around like 2 gig of space.
Sorry. The ones that are not selected are Microsoft Teams development tools, .NET Framework, project and items template, Windows Communication Foundation, .NET Framework 4.62, 4.71 development, additional project template. So I should just let all of those ones slide, right?
Yes, you do. We don't need them. That some of them are actually outdated.
Okay.
So you see that 4.8 is actually outdated because the current version of .NET now is .NET 9.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Excuse me.
Yes, please.
So once I just click on install, it pop up saying user control account. Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Am I to say yes or no?
Yeah, you have to say yes. You have to
Okay.
give it that permission. Yeah.
Okay.
Please, can I ask, is it .NET I'm supposed to select?
ASP.NET.
Thanks.
All right.
So it brought out workloads, web and cloud 4, Azure development, Python development. Am I to check all those?
No, you're not to check those ASP.NET. Okay. Mine has uninstalled.
ASP, you said?
Yeah, ASP. So
.NET.
please watch as I go about mine. So this is a pop-up I'm talking about. So you just need to select this one and you click on, sorry about that. And you click on install. So this total space is about 10 gig, 8.64. Once you click on install,
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make a quick comment. This is really weird because yours is down, yours is at 36%. I started to install before you and I'm at 10%.
okay, it's your network speed. That's why your network speed actually determines how fast it will be. Obviously, mine is
Some animals are more equal than others.
depending on your location actually and the network you're using. As you can see, it's pretty slow. It's gone back to like 30.
68%. Oh, wow.
It's around 60. Well, then it's slow today. Okay. So in case yours have installed finish, please sign in and just wait for me after you've signed in.
Hello, Abimbola.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's asking me if I want to continue without workloads.
Okay, maybe can you? Okay.
The options I have is continue. The other one is add workloads.
Okay. Please, I want you to share your screen. Okay. Can you please share your screen?
Okay. Let me find where I am. Hold on.
This meeting is being recorded.
Yes.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. Click on add workloads. Can you scroll up, please? Yeah. Select the ASP.NET and web development. Then click on install. Don't worry, you can share your screen. You can stop sharing your screen.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Do we have anyone with issue with installation? Okay, let me share my screen. So my Visual Studio, once you've installed it, you would have a screen like this once you're done with installation, and it's going to launch your Visual Studio. So it has signed me in already. I want you to select continue without code. So you have a pop-up like this, or you have a screen like this. Then the first thing I want you to do is go to the extension tabs. So you click on it. Then you click on manage extensions. I want you to search for 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓.
Please take it a bit slower, please. Thank you.
So extension,
How
manage.
do I get that? I'm still downloading. Sorry, I'm still installing.
And once you are done with installation, don't worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah. So once you've opened and you've signed in already, you would go to, okay, let me start again. So you click on continue without code. So after you've clicked on continue without code, you click on extension. After that, the first one, manage extensions. Then you search for 𝐂𝐴𝐄𝐿𝐿. So this is what you search for. This. So I'll copy it and paste it on the chat. So you search for it. Once you go to the extension and manage extension. Sorry. Okay, so once you've done that, you click on install. Once you have this pop-up here, you would have to close Visual Studio for you to install your extension. So I'll close Visual Studio. So I'll have a screen like this.
Go and sleep. Stop disturbing me. Let me call your dad. Be naughty. Very naughty.
Yeah.
Pause the recording. Sarime, can you mute yourself, please?
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, good evening. Please, I just finished installing, and what I saw is Visual Studio installer installed and available. So they say all installation are up to date. When it got to the Visual Studio Community 2022, it said modify, launch, and more. What do I click on?
Click on launch.
Launch. Then it brought up Microsoft Visual Studio 2022. So
yes. So you would have to sign in.
Well, I will create a sign. I saw sign in with Microsoft, sign in with GitHub. Which one?
So if you have a Microsoft account, that is Outlook or Hotmail, right? So if you have an Outlook account, you can sign in directly. But
Outlook.
yes, so you can sign in with your Outlook. So
If not,
you can create the Outlook account.
Sorry,
okay.
excuse
So
me. This
I should not sign in with GitHub. I should just go to sign in with Microsoft.
Yeah, you can also sign in with GitHub, but you can reuse your Microsoft account elsewhere. But your GitHub account is quite different.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's better.
So you just use Microsoft accounts. So you can use GitHub, but it's better for you to use Microsoft.
But
Yeah.
if I have to use, that means I'm setting up GitHub afresh because I don't have any before.
Yes,
Is that what?
yeah, you have to set up GitHub. So
Okay, thank you.
yes. Is it Emilia?
Yes, I have a message for admin. There's a hacker in Team Alpha, please, on the group chat. If admin is available here, please. There's a hacker in Team Alpha. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Deji. There's a hacker waiting for you. Okay, it's not. Okay. Probably you can drop it in the group chat. So sorry for that. So once you've closed your Visual Studio, you would have a pop-up like this. So I want you to click on Modify.
I'm sorry again, did you have to call again? He said personalize your Visual Studio experience. So
Okay.
he brought out some things, development setting, dark blue. I don't know. What should I do there? Start Visual.
Okay. You can pick anyone that suits you. You can pick dark, you can pick light mode.
Which one are you using?
I'm using the light mode so people can clearly see. You can see my screen clearly.
Abibella, I think you should switch to the dark theme.
Okay.
You're better off using dark theme.
Okay.
I mean Eva. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. But for those of us that does not have good sight, that thing is better, right?
Yeah.
For coding, that theme is better.
Okay, then I can now do start Visual Studio.
Yes, you can pick Start Visual Studio. But in case you've picked the light theme and you want to switch, I'm going to do the switch now. So I'm going to please have we all installed the Rock and Roll extension?
No, it has not reached there.
No.
Okay.
You said continue without code, right?
Yes, continue without code. Then at your top bar of the Visual Studio, you would select extensions.
Extension. Where will I see that now?
As if you are about to close it around that side, but you'll be moving towards your left. You see home, you see extension, you see tools, home, edit, tools.
Involved,
yeah, yes.
Yeah. So click extension.
Yeah, you click on extension.
Then you say manage extension, customize
Yeah, manage
menu.
extension. Manage extension.
Sorry to take you back. I'm just done with installing Visual Studio Installer.
Okay. So once you are done with Visual Studio Installer, you click on the launch.
Okay.
So this is my screen. So you click on this launch. So if you have something like this, you click on launch.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, but that after extension manager, what do I go next?
Okay, so you search for Rock and Roll. So I'm going to copy it and paste it on the chat again. So you just copy it on the chat and
Rock and Roll for Visual Studio 2022.
yes, that's
right?
it. Yes.
Then I'm now installed.
Yeah, install it.
This is Emilia again. Do I need to create an account? It said sign in with GitHub, create an account, keep an add account later.
I'll tell you, sign into an account, but I think once you want to install some package, you have to still sign in. So you we are good with signing in now. We are better off signing in now.
Bala, he said your changes are scheduled. The modification will begin when Microsoft Visual Studio is closed.
Yeah, you have to close it.
Which one will I close?
The Visual Studio itself. So you just click on the X button, the red X button.
The red X button.
Yeah.
On the Visual Studio installer.
Not Visual Studio. You can close Visual Studio installer. Mine is just open because of people that are following along, that are at the back.
And so which one is not the red button you're talking about
So
here again?
on your Visual Studio, there is the X button. Once you click,
Where I saw rock and roll.
I just installed it. It's asking me if I would allow the app make changes in my laptop.
yes, allow it to make changes. So what I'm saying is, if I go to this Visual Studio, so once I click on continue without code, I want you to close it.
Where will I see it? It's not here.
It should be at the top part of it, as if you want to exit your application.
On the right hand, on the top.
Yes, right.
The top where we have that.
Share your screen quickly then. Share your screen quickly. I think she's fast ahead now.
This button, the close.
It is on mine.
Sorry, what did you say?
So let me share my screen.
Okay.
You have
installed. We should have something like a pop-up like this. So you should say pop-up like this. Modification complete. Yeah. So this is it. So I'll close it. Then I'll go back to my Visual Studio. So the next step is for us to customize our system. So if you want to customize the system, I want you to go to Tools, then Options. Is this installing?
Yeah, it just finished installing now. So I've closed.
Okay. So you need to open your Visual Studio.
Maybe I go open that again now.
So you can search for it in your search bar, like.
You should go back the way I searched. I came up the other time. Visual Studio now.
Visual Studio 2022.
Oh,
Go search for it. Not on Microsoft's, no. In your search bar. Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen.
Yeah, so you search for it. So you visit. But I can't open it. I have a instance open already. But if you click on it, you should be able to open it.
Visual
Studio 2022.
So it took me back to that page. Continue without code.
Yeah, continue without code. So we're going to customize the system. So I want you to, once you have a pop-up like this, select Tools, click on Options.
It took me back to that page where you say I should close.
Yeah, that's what this is where you're meant to be, like this place, right?
No, okay, yes.
Yeah, I want to customize our system now.
Okay.
So you click on Options, so Tools, then Options.
Then options.
So the Tools is beside the Analyze, beside the extension, in between the Analyze and extensions. And click on Options. Have you clicked on Options?
After it brought out a page.
Answer.
So the first thing is probably your team. Maybe you want to click on dark team. So that's the first thing. So from light to dark team. So the next thing you may want to do is, for instance, your font size.
I'm struggling. This thing want me to from here. I'm tired, honestly.
Imbola, what did you just click now?
So the first one was the team. I updated my team to dark team. So I can click on OK. It's going to change to dark team.
I have this kind of thing.
So the next one is the font. So I want to make my own bigger. So I'll pick like 17. Click on OK.
What did you select?
Font. You don't really need it. Font. Font. F-O-N-T.
Yeah, which font did you pick there?
I just made it bigger, the size. To make it bigger.
Oh, okay.
So the next one you may want to do is line. You can search for line. Sorry.
I'm sorry. It's asking me what to install. I don't know which ones to click.
ASP.NET.
Pardon?
ASP.NET.
Okay.
You're online, I saw you go to general, right? Or is it where did you go to from? When you start line?
Yeah, sorry, just give me one. I've not selected anything. So maybe that's what we need for now. So in case we need anything, I'll let you know. So you can click on OK. So my font does not appear to be bigger, but once you set it to have been better than before. So I want to close my Visual Studio now. Then I'll open it again.
Okay, close.
So now I want you to click on create a new project. So once you click on create a new project, you can click on this rock and roll project and click on next.
Rock and roll.
The first one, the new.
The new app.
So you click on next. Yeah.
You see project name.
Yes, so you can change it to like, let's say automation framework.
I really want this one. I really want this one.
Once you click on automation framework, then you can click on create. So it will ask you to pick a framework. So I want you to pick .NET 9. And change it to NUnit.
Where did you say create?
Once you've write the project name, you'll see create here. Create. This is create.
I'm not seeing it.
Can't
Move your
see it.
cursor. Move your cursor. Can't see any create.
This create, you can't see it. Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen, but I can't see your cursor moving.
Okay. Can you see my cursor?
Yes, I've seen your cursor.
So this is create. Look at the one that
Okay. Down. Okay. Then you now say framework. Create a new rock and roll project, right?
yes, you change it to .NET 9. So for framework, .NET 9. And for test framework, you have to pick NUnit, the second one. So .NET 9 and NUnit.
Okay. Right.
So you click on create. So I'll explain the folder structure. Have you created your project?
Is it this page that is called project creation? Yes, I'm on
Yeah,
this
if you
page.
are seeing something like this, you can close what I just closed now. So you have,
What did
yeah,
you just close?
no, the welcome page.
What did you close?
You can just
Because
click
the
on
page,
X. Yeah, like on the welcome page. Okay, let's see, this is the welcome page that I open. There's the X button here. There's a tiny X, so you see close.
Sorry, can I ask a quick question?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you. So when the Visual Studio community is completely installed, and then you have those three options, modify, launch, and more. Was it launch I'm supposed to click on?
Yes,
Is it
launch.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, Dayo, the page you were before this page.
That is the welcome page. There's the X button that you can close it, or you can just click on Control F4 and you can also close it. It's the welcome page. So it has the X button similar to this one. Have you done that?
Yes, I've just done that.
Yeah, so
Sorry, I'm at work. I have to be switching off and on.
so this is the structure of the framework by default, but we'll add some folder and we'll delete a folder. So now let me walk through the project or the directories that are in this framework. So the first one is our drivers. So the driver it actually contains our executable and our method. So method is basically a function that is inside a class. So and a function is what does something. So like for instance in English, if you say the function of this is this, so that means that does this thing. So I'm not good in English. So a method is a function in a class. So this folder contains our method and for our web driver. So the next one is our future. So this is the BDD. This is where we write our BDD related code. So once I open the demo code, so I don't know if you have seen this keyword before, given and when and then. So, but just to explain it, so the future is for the calculator. So this is what we're actually testing. Then this is a simple description that we can add for this feature. Then this tag is for us to differentiate it. For instance, we can run by tag. I will show you how to do that. So meaning that we can run selected tag only. Then the next one is scenario. So this scenario is more likely, it can be a positive or a negative scenario. So for instance, if a user login, we as a tester, we don't just test the positive alone, we have to test the negative part of it. So for the positive, the user can use a correct username and password, and the expected result is for the user to be able to log in. Why for the negative test, the user can use a email and a wrong password, a wrong email and the correct password, or even an incorrect email that does not have the @ symbol. So that you fail automatically. So that is what we'll be testing. So the given keyword is set up the initial state. So this is the initial state of the why the when, it describes an action. The then is for expected outcome. So more like our result or our assertion is going to be in the then. So why the and is more like a continuation. So if you want to continue, you use the and. Yes, please, your question.
So my question has to do with the installation. I'm sorry for dragging you back, but
It's
my
fine.
thing was very slow. Okay, so now I've gotten to the personalize your Visual Studio experience development settings. So I have general. Is general okay, or do I need to go? So I have JavaScript, Visual Basic, Visual C#, Visual C++, web development code only. Those are the options for the general settings.
Sorry. Are you in
And
your,
then what?
is it this place you're talking about?
Let's see.
Are you seeing my screen?
No, I've gone past this
You gone
one.
past this one. Okay. So you would have to select without code.
No, no, select without code. No, I have this. It says choose your color theme, dark blue.
Okay, you can select dark theme.
Okay, that thing. But again, just on top of that, you have the development settings, and then general. There's general, and then you have a lot of options: JavaScript, Visual Basic, Visual C#, and all of that.
So can you select the general?
Okay, good. Thank you. Then start Visual Studio.
Yes.
Right. Thank you. Sorry for taking you back.
Yeah, please. Your question. Noah.
Yeah, hello. Sorry. I hope I'm not taking very back. Can I share my screen so you can help me out? I think I am on this page, but I don't know how do I proceed from here.
This page?
Yes.
Have you installed your extension?
That's the rec and roll, right?
Yes.
I have done that.
And you are here already?
Yes, I am here, but I don't have anything on this center page, but I have some things on the side, drivers, futures, and all that. So I don't know what I'm meant to do to have what you have here.
Okay. For that, look at our features folder. You can expand it, then click on the calculator .future.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that should solve it.
Okay.
Have you done that?
Yes, I have done that.
Can you see what I'm saying now?
Yes, I'm clicking on the yes.
Yeah, so that's it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So,
God.
Emilia, please.
Abimbola, I'm sorry. Can I
No,
share
don't
screen?
say I'm sorry. Okay.
Honestly, because I'm taking you 20 miles backward. Can I share screen for you to see where I am, please?
Where exactly are you?
I've just finished the downloading, and then it says personalize your Visual Studio experience. Then I got development settings and start Visual Studio, other things to choose your color theme. So I don't know.
Okay. You can see. Let's share your screen. Let me stop sharing.
Thank you.
So that
Now you have to close your Visual Studio. Not
So
down,
close
yeah.
it up there, right?
Yes. So you should see like an installer.
So are you still seeing my screen?
No, I don't know about.
Like schedule task for Visual Studio Community install, work and roll for Visual Studio 2022.
Yeah.
By
Click
clicking
on
modify,
modify.
yeah. Okay. Waiting on the following process to shut down before continuing with modification.
You still have a Visual Studio instance running. That's why. So you can close it. Yeah, you can click on close. Yes.
Are you sure you want to exit Visual Studio?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So just start installing now.
Okay, so I can close it now, right?
Yeah, you can close.
And so what happens next? Where is
Then you
it?
search for your search bar. You search for Visual Studio.
Am I still supposed to have this up?
Yes, so you have to click on create a new project now.
It says open a project here, right? No,
Create.
create a new project here, there. Okay, sorry.
Then click on
Okay.
the rock and roll project.
Double click or a single click?
Just single click.
Nothing's happening.
Then click on next. Next is down. After the back.
Oh yeah, so I need to play it. So what's in the way?
Click on next.
I can't seem to. Can I use a keyboard shortcut? Because I can't. This is like obstructing.
Okay, can you maximize your screen, your Visual Studio screen? Can you scroll up? So
much
select the rock and roll project.
Again.
Then click on next.
Yeah.
So you can call it like automation framework.
For the project name, right?
Yes.
One word or does it really matter?
Yeah, it matters. So you need to.
So camel case maybe.
This Pascal case.
Okay, so what is Pascal? So what's Pascal case then?
So Pascal case, each of the first word is going to start with a capital letter.
Capital letter. Okay, that's what I've done. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, for Pascal case, the first word is going to be a small letter. Then the next word is going to be a capital letter. That's the beginning of the first word. Of the next word, of the second word. Then the third word, the beginning of this third word is also going to be capital letter. So like a camel ump.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So, but this is fine, right? What I've done is okay.
Yes.
Okay. So am I supposed to change any other thing here?
No, that's fine. Just click on
Okay.
create.
Sorry, but like this now I wrote my own, does it matter? I wrote the framework in one word and
It's fine.
the end The F is small letter. What do you call that style now? Only the automation has capital letter A.
I don't know which style is that, but
Okay,
it's fine
so
as long
test
as they are
framework.
together.
Okay, so do I just move on to create?
No, you change it to N units.
Okay, the test framework. Okay.
So you click on create.
Yeah, thank you.
So you can maximize. I say maximize. You can expand your features in your Solution Explorer. Not there. Where you have that use Copilot for free. That pop up.
Yeah.
So you see,
okay.
yes, you see a features folder.
So here, dependencies, drive. Oh yeah, features. Yeah.
So you can expand that folder. Then click on calculator feature.
Okay. So I have it here. Okay.
So click on close.
Okay. So does it mean that this gives the Gherkin syntax by default each time I open this?
It's great. This is a default project which Rock and Roll actually creates for you. So it's left for you to actually expand it, which is what we'll be doing.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. So I can stop sharing now, right?
You can stop sharing.
I'm up to speed. Yeah, thank you.
So Emilia, your hands are up. All right, so let's just go over the Gherkin syntax. So we have the given, which is more like a precondition. The and is for like continuation. So you can't use your and also after the when statement. So it's not just restricted to after the given statement. Then the when is for your action. So for instance, you click a button is an action. If you fill a form, that is also an action. Then the then keyword is more like your affirmation. Okay. The results that should be seen is what? For instance, once you log in, maybe you are expected to see a pop-up screen. That's an affirmation. Maybe you are expected to be redirected to the home page. That is also an affirmation. So it's more like affirmation or confirm, to confirm that what you are doing is expected. So next one is our step definition. So for the step definition, you may have seen this binding keyword is an attribute provided by Rock and Roll. Yeah. So this is okay, let me just explain how this works. The public keyword means that we can use it everywhere outside of this folder. Then the sealed means we cannot create a constructor for it. Sorry, that means we cannot inherit it, So we cannot inherit it. Then the class is our container for our method and our field. Then this is the name of the class. And if you notice, the name of this class is the same thing as the name of this folder, except from this .cs. So the name of the class is calculator step definitions. The name of the file is calculator step definitions. But the CS is for the extension, just like how you have .txt file for your text or your .pdf for your PDF file. So this has not been implemented. So this is an exception. So this is the attributes. So the given, I want you to look at the relationship between the feature file and the step definition. So this is the given. The first number is 50. The first number is int. So the int here means that it is receiving a parameter. So a parameter means what we need to pass to our method. So it is being parameterized. So for instance, if I I'm not using 50. If I change it to 70 and I try to run it, what I'll have here, or what I'll have in this number, is going to be 70. So the int is an integer. Our number is an integer. So we can also parameterize other things like string, or string and integer are the common one, but we can parameterize any other thing. So for parameterization, we have a curly bracket, and we have what we want to parameterize, the type of the variable type. But this is not introduction to C#. So this is our method. A method is a function inside of a class. The public, similarly to the class, is to show the level of access. So we can use a public method, we can use a private method. But once we use a public method, anytime we initialize this class, we can actually call this given first number is anywhere outside of this class. Once we call the class, we can use this given first method. But if I change it to private, I can't use it anymore. And if you notice, it went dark green. So for our step definition, we must ensure we try to use, or we must use public. So have you noticed it's back to where it was before? But if I use private, is grayed out, meaning that we cannot use it. So this has not been implemented. So this is a to-do, and this is not going to run. So this is a comment. So in C#, there are ways we can write comments. So one of the way is, this is a single line comment. So we have multi-line comments. So for a multi-line comment, we have something like this. Have you seen everything is on one, everything is grouped, but this one we have a single line for each. So I could convert it to a single line. For instance, I can just copy everything from here, copy it here. But this is a multi-line comment. This is a single line comment. So if I delete this double quotation and I type something here now, as you can see, it is red. So comments generally, what a comment means is something that will not be executed by our compiler. So that's what comment means. So it's where we write our code. For instance, maybe we want to do this one later on in the future, so we can write a comment for it, or want to explain what the method does for somebody. So probably I can just put a comment that this method first number is 70. So this is a comment. So now the next one is throw new pending step exception. So exception are what cause our program to crash. So our program can crash due to unhandled exceptions. And with handle exceptions using the try-catch syntax. So if I run this code, this is going to throw a pending step exception, which is gotten for rock and roll. So this is throw new. True means that we're returning back. Then the new keyword is for the pending step exception. So the new means we're creating a new class of this pending step exception, and we're throwing it, or we're returning it. So the next one, similarly, if you look at the feature file, and the second number is 70. So we have the second number is then the parameterized number, the public void, given. Look at the given here, D. I want you to look at it that this is a Pascal case notation. So in C#, our method is going to be always going to be in a Pascal case notation. So the G is in capital letter. The T now is also in capital letter. Then the S is in capital letter. Then the N, capital letter. The I is capital letter. Then this one is a parameterized. So that's why we don't need to add it here. Then we have our comment. Then we have our exception that is being thrown at us. So the next one, similarly to this and this. Okay, I hope that was clear about the step definition. So then we have our support. So our support, this is where we put our helper method. Then this implicit using, it's where we have our, for instance, the implicit using is where we have our global keyword. So this global, it allows us to import anything out, without having to import it in multiple times. So for instance, if I remove this global rock and roll and I go back to my step definition, I have an error, right? But if I write using if I write using rock and roll now, the error is gone. But if I create a new step definition, for instance, a login step definition, and I don't want to repeat ourselves, we don't want to repeat ourselves, like writing this using rock and roll, we would have to put it in this implicit using. So as you can see, it is grayed out, meaning that we already have it installed already. We already have it in our implicit using. Though some people don't use it, some people use it, so it depends on your need. So it's not really compulsory to have it in the framework. So going back to how I'll structure the framework. So the framework will be structured using the page object model, which we talked about. So we have our driver. So the next folder I will create is going to be called a hooks. So I'll create a hooks folder. Yes, please.
I'm lost now. To start with, you see all these you're clicking up, the feature, the calculator feature and all those, you're able to click your own from the up, not from the side now. I can't see it on my own screen.
You can't see what? Sorry.
You see this on the right here, yes, I see that. No, I can see this, but I see that on the major page, you click somewhere up on your screen here when you want to switch pages.
Okay.
It's not that easy. It's not there. You switch to the other side.
This?
Okay, no, I can switch from here, but I see you switching from the top of the.
Okay.
Not this side now.
Okay.
Stop left.
So
Can you see?
this is you right click. So if you want to create a new folder, you would have to write, or a new file, you right click, then you click on add. So what am I adding? I'm adding a new folder. Is this what you're talking about?
No.
No?
No, she means the top left where you the pages for.
When you were taking us.
Sorry. The top left. Which top left is that? Is it this one?
No. Come back into the major page where you're teaching. Where?
This one.
No, not inside this page. Now you navigate pages from here without going to that side.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, you can move without clicking on this one. So it's the same thing. You can move. It makes it faster.
Okay, so I didn't see those ones up on my own. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I see. I don't know about that. So can you share your screen? Let's see. Yeah, let me stop sharing my screen. So you right click. So you right click on the automation framework. You see that one that has like a green icon, then automation framework.
This one.
Yes, right click on it. Then click on add.
Add.
Then new folder.
New folder. I click this.
Yes. Then you search for, it says
Am I
search for,
related?
you type for hooks.
Hooks.
Yes, H, capital letter H. Then
Okay.
𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐍𝐄𝐓.
Yes.
Yes, click on enter. So the next one, so similarly, you would create a new folder.
From automation framework again.
Yes.
Double click. Or right click, sorry.
Yeah. You click on new folder.
New folder.
Then you call it page objects. So capital letter P, then the O, no space. Then the O, capital letter O, then objects.
This way.
S, start an S. And click on enter. Okay. We have driver, we have features, we have hooks, we have features. So that's it. So let me so you can stop sharing your screen while I share my screen now. Thank you. It's my so I'll create my folders. So I'll create my hooks. So what our hooks does is, so our hooks folder actually contain our hook file or our hook class. So it's,
sorry, what did you click to create hooks? Please, can you repeat that bit?
So this add new folder. Then you type hooks.
Did you click on automation framework?
Yes.
Okay.
This one, I'm going to click on it.
Okay.
Right click. This
Okay.
that can minimize. Right click on it, but you are not going to minimize it. Click on add. The new folder.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, I can't continue. Say my device has run into a problem and need to restart. So continue.
I've got Windows. Okay. So the next folder I'll create is going to be page objects. So come here, click on add, click on new folder and call it page objects. So I would start by explaining what each folder does. So our driver folder, it contains our WebDriver executable. So this is where we initialize our browser. So for that, I'll create a new class. So I want you to see something. So I right click on the drivers itself. I have a add. I want to click on class. So I'll click on the class. So it's road. So for the class, make sure you are selecting class. Sorry, delete it. Add new class. Then for the name, I'll call it driver. So this is for the name. Then click on add.
If you want to undo something, how do you do? I think I've added a folder that is not needed again.
You've added a folder. So let's say I added this support folder that is not needed. I could just come here and click on delete on my keyboard, or I can right click and look at delete. So delete on your keyboard, or you right click and you see delete. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll start with the driver factory. So this is the olden days type of class. So if I want to customize it and I don't want to be seeing it every time, or if I save, if I want to save in the background, what I could do is I think I could come to tools, go to options, then I can search for save. So I can click on documents. So if you see this, automatically save files when Visual Studio is in the background. Options, you go to tools.
You have to come back, I'm sorry. From that drivers, how did you create your driver factory?
It's okay. Driver factory is a class. You would right click on the driver folder itself. You click on add, then click on new class. So I already have the driver factory, so I'll call it driver. Then I'll click on add. So I have it, driver factory too.
Okay.
But I'll delete this one now.
Okay.
Delete it. So for the automation framework, for the driver factory, the first thing I want you to notice is that I want you to change it to public. So on line 3, please change it to public static. So the public means we can access our driver factory everywhere in our automation framework. While the static means we don't need to initialize it before we use it. So we'll talk about class initialization later on. So, but for the driver factory, we're going to create 2 methods. So the first method, can you hear me?
I'm not using your page.
What's that?
My own is not showing this. My own, when I click on the driver factory, I double click on it. It's showing system collection generic.
Yeah, click on Control S.
Control S.
Yeah. Okay.
It didn't change anything.
It didn't change anything. So the thing is, it has some holding like using.
Yes.
So this using system is, as you can see, is grayed out, right? So you can delete them manually. You have what I have.
I delete them manually.
Yes, and you have what I have.
Okay.
So
I have namespace automation framework.
No driver.
Right. But is on number 2, not on number 1. How does it go to number 1?
So you can delete the space.
Okay. Okay, I just did.
Okay, so now for you have to put a public static
in the class, that is
before the class. Yes, public is a keyword. Then you put a space, static. Then you put a space before you have the class driver factory.
Okay, then I enter, right?
Yeah, you click on enter. We'll create a method. So before we create a method, we'll create a field, a static field. So for our static field, we'll make it private because we don't want any class or any member of this automation framework to access it. So we'll make it private static. Oh, okay, sorry about that. So now we're going to install some dependency or some NuGet packages. So I want you to right click on the automation framework. You go to manage NuGet packages. Then you click on it. So you would have something like this. So I want you to click on browse.
You're really fast. You're really, really fast.
I'm really fast. Oh my God.
Yeah. We should go to manage nugget packages.
Yeah. Then click on it. So you'll be here, but I want you to click on browse.
Okay.
So you search for selenium.
There are 3 seleniums there.
Yeah. So you pick this one and this one. You can pick the first 3. So this selenium web driver, you install it.
One after the other, right?
Yes, one after the other. The next one, you click on install. So once you've installed it, you would have like a green tick.
Automation framework installing. Should I click apply?
Yeah, apply. Are you done with it?
I'm not sure if the 3 have installed. How will I know if the 3 have installed?
If you have, the first way is that you see a green tick on the 3 of them, like my screen now.
Oh, splendid. Yeah, they are.
And secondly, you can also come to the install tab. So you see that they're also on the installed. And you'll see the green tick also. So that's 2 ways for you to know that you've installed it.
Let me see. Yes.
Okay. So back to driver factory. So now we'll create a private field we'll create a private static field called driver. So to create a field, what we'll do is we'll start with a keyword access modifier, which happens to be our private. So private is a keyword, just like our public is a keyword. So private means that no one can access it except for members in this class. So private. Then the next word is static. I don't want to initialize it. This is a static class. A static class can only accept a static member. So the next one is 𝐖𝐈𝐓. Now, so the first thing is this 𝐖𝐈𝐓 is an interface. So you look at the keyword I. So this is the interface that helps us hold our WebDriver. So our WebDriver, if you remember, we download Chrome driver. If you remember, we download Chrome driver. So the 𝐖𝐈𝐓 is an interface, and the Chrome driver inherits from this 𝐖𝐈𝐓. It's just when I mean inherits, for instance, if you have a family tree, like the father and the child will inherit part of what the gene of what the father has. So that is inheritance. So the Chrome driver actually inherits from this 𝐖𝐈𝐓, meaning that we can get our Chrome driver from this 𝐈𝐓 driver. So it means that we can get our 𝐈𝐓 driver from Chrome driver, I meant. So I hope that was not too confusing. But if you have any question, please ask. So this 𝐈𝐓 driver is from OpenQA Selenium. So what we can do again is we could copy it or we could cut it away from here. Now it's red. We can come to this our implicit using. You can type the keyword global, then paste it. So if we go back to our driver factory, as you can see, it's no more red anymore. So global using means that we can use it everywhere in our framework. Then private type of access modifier. Yeah, please go on with your question.
I am back, but it looks like I'm starting all over.
Okay. Do you want to share your screen?
I think I'll be taking everybody far back. But
So next thing is this private static 𝐈𝐓 driver. Like I said, is an interface, and our Chrome driver inherits from this 𝐈𝐓 driver. So then we'll put a field called driver. Now I want to do something. So this question mark means that it can be nullable. It's just like a number can accept 0, our 𝐈𝐓 driver can accept the null value. So when I mean null value, I mean n means nothing inside it. Why? Is because I don't want to initialize it now. I want to initialize it later on. So that's why I have to set it to be null. So now I'm going to create a method to initialize our driver. So what I'll do is going to be a public method, public void. So void is a return type, meaning that it's returning nothing. Oh, sorry, public static. So I have to use a static method inside the static class, public static void. So this return void, sorry, this is not meant to be void, public static 𝐈𝐓 driver. So we're returning a 𝐈𝐓 driver from this class, initialize driver. Public, we can access it outside of this class. Static, when inside the static class, we don't want to initialize this driver in multiple instances. Then the 𝐈𝐓 driver is our return type. Then initialize driver is a method. So, but the error is that not all code path return a value. So it's expecting us to return something. So what we could do is, if underscore driver is not equals to null. So like I said, this allow our underscore driver to be set to null. So we could return so this if statement, this is an if statement, so it's for condition. So if underscore driver is not equals to null, we should return our driver. So this return keyword, similar to our true, is what we are just returning from the method. So we're going to return our underscore driver. So yes, please go on with your question.
Please, if I want to undo this thing you're doing now, because I discovered that as I was following you, I probably had pressed something and it's not on the same page with yours. If I want to clear it and start afresh, maybe after the class, watching the video to start afresh on my own, how do I clear it?
So you can click on Ctrl+Z.
So it will clear everything.
But if you want to clear everything, there are different ways. You can either delete it. You can delete it. Once you delete it, that's it.
I was deleting on this your open and close brackets was not now aligning with your own page. That's why I asked this question.
Oh, okay. It's not aligning. Okay.
Yeah.
What you could do is, I think you can go to File. Then I think there's Formats. Okay. You can customize it. Then click on Options. Then you can search for Formats. Advanced features. Can't really remember how to format and save. Or search for Save.
Okay, but look for that one. This one is harder. I just want to clear that in and start this driver factory page afresh again. That's what I want to do.
You want to clear it, so you have to delete it then. You have to delete the whole.
I will highlight that way and delete everything.
Yes. So you can highlight and delete, or you can just start deleting manually. But if you want to make it faster, you just highlight and delete.
Okay.
Thank you. And look at the line, they are being indented.
Thank you.
So that's the first one. So if our driver is not equal to null, then we need to return our driver. That means since the return type of this method is 𝐖WebDriver, and our driver is of type 𝐖WebDriver. Okay. Now, _driver. So we now want to initialize our _driver equals to new Chrome driver. So this Chrome driver is for our Chrome browser. So anytime you want a browser, if Selenium support the browser, it's going to come in form of a something driver. So if I want Edge driver, I will do Edge driver. So it becomes Edge. So this is going to open my Edge browser. And if I want Firefox, I'll do Firefox driver. Just hope that makes sense. Look at it. Selenium, Chrome, Selenium, Edge, Selenium, Firefox. But I'll be using Chrome driver. So I'll change it to Chrome driver. So now, there's some properties we can set on our driver. For instance, we can maximize our page. We can set our URL. So the first thing I will do is I'm going to maximize our page. So in Selenium, to maximize your page, you do _driver.manage. So this manage is a method in this driver. So manage has some other method. For instance, it has a field called Windows. Then this window, you can maximize it. So this is the code to maximize your Selenium. So this is the code to maximize your Selenium browser. So the next one is if we want to add a implicit weight. So implicit weight means that what is the default weighting for each element in the browser. So I can do driver.manage. This is a method dot timeout. Sorry, dot implicit weight. So timeout is also a method. Equals to time span dot from seconds, passing 10 seconds. This first line is to maximize our browser. This second line is to add implicit weights, meaning that we wait for each element 10 seconds each before the driver crashes or before it throws an exception. So then after that, we have to return our driver. Underscore driver. Okay, that makes sense a little bit. So the next method I'll create is going to be it's not going to return anything. It's just going to close our driver, because for each instance, we need to be closing our driver due to we don't want our driver to continue running even in our background or even after the test is done. So we need to close our driver. So I'll call it a public method, public static void. We don't need to return anything from this method. We'll call it close driver. So what we'll do is we'll do driver dot quit. This is going to quit our driver, and driver equals to null. We'll set our driver back to null and we'll quit our driver. So this question mark means that if driver exists, we should quit it. But if driver does not exist, we shouldn't do anything, but we should set it to null. So this is the nullable. And if you are wondering, is it possible for us to disable it? Yes, we can disable it. So if we want to disable the nullable, we could come here and change it to disable. You save it. So if I go back to my driver factory, there's no point in me having it. So if I delete it, there is no error. But part of good practice is that we should actually enable the nullable. Okay. That makes sense. So now this is the first part of it. So this is our driver. We've set our Chrome driver and we've maximized our window. We've added implicit weights and we've returned our driver. So the next one is our hooks that we'll be working with. So I'll create a new class. So for our hooks, it contains setup and tear down method, such as opening and closing our browser. So I'll call it hook. Click on add. So I'm going to update it to public. So I'm going to create a public field. So the public field is going to be the one we're going to share throughout our automation framework, or throughout each scenario that we have in our feature file. So for that, I'm going to create a new public 𝐖𝐈𝐓 driver. Capital F driver. Now put a. So now I'm going to use the attributes. Before that, I'm going to use the attribute here called binding. So this allows us to bind our hook and use it also everywhere we want to use it. So the first is going to be T. We're going to call it before scenario. So we have before feature and we have before scenario. So if you remember our feature file, we have feature and we have scenario. So, but what I'm going to do is going to run for each scenario. But we can also do each feature anyway. Well, since a scenario is shorter than a feature, it makes more sense for you to. So sorry about that. So I'm going to use a before scenario. I'm going to create a new public method. I'm going to call it public. Call it void. It does not return anything. Call it driver. So for this create driver, what am I going to do? I'm going to set our driver, capital letter driver, equals to, remember in our driver factory, we've created some method for driver. So what I will do is I will do driver factory this dot initialize driver. So this is the first one that I'm going to do. So the second one we're going to do is going to be after each scenario. After scenario, we'll create a new method to be public void tear down. This is to destroy our driver, not destroy, but to close our driver. So we're going to call driver factory dot close driver. This is our hooks, and I'm going to make this static. Okay. So this one is going to run before each scenario, and this one is going to run after every scenario. So this run first, we create our driver first, and this one we close our driver. So we may add some additional things such as login, or we can add screenshots. So that is why. So sometimes it may have multiple things like login, screenshot, and some other things I can use. But this is a simple method. So I don't want to make things too complex because it's already complex like this. So this is the hook. So the next one we'll work with is our page object. So for our page object, we're going to create a new C# class that is going to be called login page. So this is the page object module. So we're going to create, for each feature, we're going to create a new class. So, and each class will contain its own web elements and their associated action. That is, the action is going to be defined in our method. So I'm going to click on add. Now, similarly, I'm going to make this a public class. Let me go back to this. Let me just copy the URL. If I come here and I open the link, now this is a simple page for login. So I already have the username here and I have my password. So we could do something like this. We could get the username from here, get the password from here, then make it fill it up itself, then log in. Or we could also use parameterization to actually work with it. So either way is fine. So I'm going to write my Gherkin syntax now. Like that is for my feature file. So giving the user navigates to this URL, then the user filling the username and the user filling the password, then the user click on login. So once I fill in my username and I fill in my password, then I click on login. What should I see? I should be navigated here. So I could get the URL. I could do some assertion with my URL. Okay, this is it. So let me go back to my feature file. So for the feature, I'll create a new feature. You click on add, you click on new item. You have something like this, so you click on show all templates. Now I want you to click on rock and roll. You click on rock and roll file for feature. Good. click on the feature file, then you call it login. Then you can call it login feature. Then click on add. So I have my login feature here. So now can give it a name like probably login to source lab. So you give it a short summary. So so this is a simple login test for source lab. So now this tag, I can call it at login. So we'll see our tag. So for this scenario, need to give it a scenario called positive test. So positive login. So now, what is the given? So the first step we actually did was we navigated to this URL. So I could come back and say, given I navigate to the source lab, maybe source lab together. Okay, not source, it's swag lab. Okay. So then what am I meant to do? So I should fill in my username, fill in my password, right? So when I put in username and I fill in my password, once we fill in our username, we fill in our password. Next thing we'll do, we have to click on the login. Click the login button. So once we click on the login button, what is going to happen? We could do some assertion. So we could verify the URL. So we could, since there's no pop-up, so sometimes some websites can have pop-up, some websites can have different things. So we could assert that we can see maybe the product, but I'll be using URL for simplicity. Sorry, shouldn't copy that. So then let's call it inventory page. Given your precondition, so you navigate to the website. What are your actions? You fill in the username, you fill in the password, you click on the login. Then what should happen? It should be on the inventory page. So this is the inventory page. So this is more like the shopping cart, the shopping website. So now you can see that it's great, but we don't have our step defined for it. So what you could do is you could click on build, then click on build solution. Now, I want you to take notice, add this down. So I want to, this is not big, but I want you to see that it has generated my file called login.feature.cs. So it has generated the file. Great. So if I come back here and I look at it, so this has been generated already automatically. So anytime you build your feature file, you would have a corresponding feature.cs. So now if I click on, these are undefined steps. What I could do is I could maybe right click, then click on define steps. So that is Control B or Control D, Control B, D meant. So I can click on define step. So I could create this step, log into source lab step definitions. So once I create it, it is in my step definition folder automatically. Similarly, if you recall from the feature file of the calculator, if I compare it to my step definition, the feature file. So given I navigate to the Swag Lab website, then given I navigate to the, so these are it is. So, and that's a binding class. Hope that was clear. So we generated our login feature. We've used rock and roll to generate our step definition, but we have not implemented our step. So this is where our login page actually comes in place. So our login page will consist of two things. That is going to be our method for the action and our selectors. So we'll talk a little bit about selectors now. Okay, so selectors in Selenium or in basically website testing or probably app testing is what we use to get our element, or in order to perform a action, we need to get some elements. It's just like if you want to come to my house, you need to know the address. So that is what selector are. That before we perform any action, we need to know the selector. So, and there are different ways of creating our selector. Or in the POM method, or the one of the best way to create it is by defining our method here and using them in our class. So there are different ways of selecting our element in the DOM. Let me come back here. So to get to the DOM, I want you to click, right click, then come to click on inspect. So this is the DOM. This is HTML. So if I want to select something, I could just come here and select. So as you can see, I've selected it. Password. I have selected password. So we can select in Selenium. There are different ways we can select an element. So we can select. Okay, let me look at it. I can make it bigger. So we can select by class. We could select by attribute name. We could select by ID. We could select by name. And some other attributes. So that's how it is. So let's talk a little bit about it. So going back here. So now I'm going to create a private. I'm going to create a private class. So I say private class. I'm going to create a private field to hold our driver state. I'm going to create a constructor. So a constructor is where we initialize our driver. That's the short way of saying it. But to create a constructor, you do CTOR. So that is a constructor. So, and your constructor can be public or can be private. So if I want to initialize this application and I want to set our driver, so I could set my driver in my constructor. So I do underscore driver equals to hook driver. So this hook was defined in our hook class. This driver is a field that we define. So if I click on F12 to go to definition, as you can see, this is the driver we are talking about. And this driver has a life cycle that is going to be created before the scenario and is going to be destroyed or teared down after the scenario. So let me go back to my page. So this is a constructor. We initialize our driver in a constructor. So now we are going to use our page object. We're going to define our selectors now. So to define our selector, our selector is in our selector. To define our selector, we use this 𝐈_web elements. So for our selector, we make use of 𝐈_web elements, and for our driver, we make use of 𝐈_web driver. So these are the two interfaces we use. Though we can use web elements, but in C# you want to depend on the interface rather than the concrete implementation. So for the 𝐈_web elements, we are going to create let's call it the username field. So username field. So I'm going to do a lambda expression. So a lambda expression is like a short way of writing a method. So if I want to return something directly, is what I'm going to use my lambda expression for, without me writing additional return statements that we wrote over here. I think, is it our driver? Yeah, I wrote additional return driver because this is a long method. But if it was something short, I can use a lambda expression. So this is a lambda. So this this short word there means that it's going to return something. So it's expecting something to be returned. So, and in Selenium, there are different ways we can select. So we could select by ID. So driver dot find element. So this is the element we are looking for. Find element, open and close brackets. Then we use the by keyword. Now this is where it's come interesting. So like I said, we have our name, we have our ID, we have tag name, we have link text, we have CSS selector, we have class name, we have experts, partial link text. So, and if you recall from here, we have class, we have ID, we have name. So we can use any of those ones that you can see currently. So I'm going to be using by ID since ID is faster. So the ID is called username. So I'll copy it from my DOM. So by ID, open and close bracket. I'll put a double quotation to pass it as a string. Then after every C# expression, you're going to put a semicolon. This is the first field or first private field. And I not put any access modifier that is public or private, but in C#, even if you don't put the access modifier, by default it is private. So, but I could put my private here and still going to work the same thing. But there's no point in me adding my private. The next one is our password. So to select the password, you can come here, then click on password. So the password is similar to the username field. It has the placeholder, it has class, it has an ID. So I'm going to be using the ID. So I'm going to be using the name this time around. So I'm going to copy the name as password. So I'm going to do 𝐈_web elements, password field. Return underscore driver, find elements by name. Open it, and I'll put a double quotation because it's expecting a string. So now paste in the password name. So this is for the password. The next one we need to define is going to be our button. So I'm going to do 𝐈_web elements. I'm going to call it submit. Is this submit? Login button. The expression. So for this login button, to select the login button in the DOM, I'm going to click on the button. So now the input type is submit, the class is submit button, then the data test is, the name is, the value. So what I'm going to be using is by class stemmer. So I'm going to copy this submit button class. So I'm going to do underscore driver find element by dot class name, the double quotation, then pass in this one. So this is our elements that we've defined now. So we need 3 elements. That is our username, our password, and our login. The next one we need is, now we want to create our functionality, that is to fill the form and we can also click on the button. So I'll create a public void fill username field. I'm going to open a method. So what am I going to do? I'm going to username field. What I'm going to do is going to be username field dot send keys. So send keys is when you want to. So send keys is used if we want to type to our field. So once I click on send keys, standard user, we're going to have standard user on this side since we've selected it properly. So I'm going to click on standard user. So the next one I can do is public void. The return type is not returning anything, so that is void. I say fill password. I can do password field dot send keys, the double quotation. So for the password for all user is secret source. I'll paste it here. Then I'll put a semicolon. So the third one is for our login button. So I could do public void click. I could do login button click. Now this is all we need for now. So I'll come back to refactor it. So we're going to try to parameterize. So this one is not making use of parameter. So what I could do is I could come back. I could go to my step definition. So for this one now, I am going to do a login page. So this is going to initialize it. So given I navigate to the Swag Lab website, so I'm going to initialize my login page here. So what I could do is login page equals to new keyword, the new login page. This is going to call our empty constructor. So and in our login page, we have our empty constructor. So what I just did now is going to call this part of it. So you know, I'm writing 0 reference. So now you can see it's now 1 reference. This one is 0 reference for now. This is 1 reference. That means I'm already using the constructor. So if I want to use it, if I want to use the method of this login page, what I could do is when I fill my username. So what I could do is login page dot fill username field. So this is going to fill the username. So this is going to come back here and type standard user. So the next one is login page. Fill password field. So this is going to fill the password. Then the next one is going to be login page dot click login. So this is going to click the login button. So this is going to try an exception. So I am not doing my assertion for now. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do a simple console.log. So it should fail. So console.writeline. This is for the console in C# to print on our terminal or maybe PowerShell. So now I'm going to build it. So if you want to build your project, you can come to this build and click on build solution. So you can see it is actually building. So you should have it like a signal here, and you can see something here that is building. So that's built. So I'm going to click on the test. Then I will click on Test Explorer. Okay, so I'm going to try to pull my Text Explorer to this side so you can see it side by side. So we have two tests. The first one is our calculator.feature. The second one is our login source lab.feature. So, but I'm going to be running the positive login. As you can see, our traits is our tag. If you can remember, our tag is login. So if I change this tag to, let's say, smoke, and I build. So here should also change to smoke. Smoke, as you can see, it has changed to smoke. So this is, so I can run by tag, but I'm going to run this one for now. So we should see a Chrome browser, and it's going to log into the source lab. So it's going to create a new instance of 2000. Oh my god. Yeah, it's going to fail. I did not start my browser. So I'm going to copy this URL. So it's going to fail. It has failed for now. We don't navigate to any URL. So to navigate to a URL, what I'm going to do is come here. So to navigate to a URL, I'll do driver dot maybe driver dot manage. Oh, I could also driver dot navigate dot go to URL and pass in our URL. So in Selenium, if you not do something properly, it's going to actually fail. So if I run this again, this should actually pass now. So we should be able to see the login. So as you can see, it has passed. So it was so fast. If we want to see it in a slow mode, what I could do is I could put a debug in the feature. So I could put a breakpoint here. So now I'm going to run it in debug. So I'm going to click on the debug this time around. The first time I click on run, the second time I want to click on debug. So we would see where it stopped at. So debugging is not meant for this use case. We could have put a screenshot helper. But once we start debugging now, you see that it will stop Now, look at it. We are here. We're in the inventory website. Similarly, if I click on, so this is Chrome, this is Edge. So if I copy the password and paste it, we are here. So I want to assert, I just want to complete the then statement, then I will assert that this URL is this. So we've navigated to this. So I'm going to stop it now, or I'm going to resume it, continue. So I'm going to click on continue. So continue means that I'm going to execute the code after my breakpoint. So what I put this rating is a breakpoint, then I'll click on continue. So it's going to pass again. So I've passed the test. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to assert. So any unit provide us, it does not just help us to it does not just help us to run our code, it also helps us with assertion. But before that, we need to go to our login page. Now, we need to get our URL. So public void, I could say maybe let's say it's not void, I mean a Boolean expression, bool validates the URL. So we're going to validate our URL. Maybe our URL is equals to this one. So what I could do is, so in our driver, we have this URL class. Sorry, just please. So what I'm trying to do here is that I want to validate that our driver.url is this one. Or if I don't want to use this one, I could do driver.url. I could use a contain keyword. So dot contains. So this is going to return a Boolean, and we can validate the Boolean. So what I could do is I'll go back to my step definition. I'll do login page dot in assertion schema assert that we're going to take in a Boolean expression. So you look at it, bool condition, and in our login page we are returning a bool condition. Assert that our login page, we should validate the URL. Now, if the URL, if this return false, this is going to fail the test, and if this return true, this is going to pass the test. So if I click on run again, so this is true. So, but for instance, if I, sorry, please go on. Yes. Your hands are up, sir.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Abimbola, for this. Anyway,